Good evening, viewer. Tonight, I invite you to listen, not with fear, but with patience, because some stories are not meant to be rushed. They do not shout, they wait. Long ago, in the cold forests of the north, there were secrets so heavy that even the earth tried to hide them. Secrets buried beneath snow, beneath floorboards, beneath silence itself. This is one of those stories. A story whispered in Scandinavian villages when the lamps burned low. A story of a small voice that refused to disappear. A story of something that walks, not to frighten the living, but to be remembered. If you are listening late at night, if the room around you is quiet, then listen closely, because the forest remembers, and sometimes it answers. They say that on certain winter nights when the snow falls without sound, you may hear footsteps behind you, not the steps of an adult, not even of an animal, but something smaller. If you stop walking, the footsteps stop. If you turn around, there is nothing there. And yet, when you continue on your way, the sound returns. Closer. In Scandinavia, they gave this presence a name. They called it the Myling. Before the world fell silent, before snow pressed down on the villages, there were places where the earth remembered. Footsteps that vanished without trace, names never spoken aloud, cries that carried in the wind and never found an answer. Tonight, you are here to listen, not to be frightened, but to wander slowly through shadows that have waited for centuries to be heard. The story begins in a forest far to the north, where the pines are tall and the snow is deep. In a village pressed close to the woods, wooden homes huddled like birds roosting. Small windows glowed warmly. Inside, people whispered secrets they hoped the cold night could not carry away. But the forest always listens, and sometimes it replies. In long ago winters, when snow fell heavy and nights were endless, children were sometimes born into silence. Not because they did wrong, not because the world was cruel to them personally, but because the world was cruel to those who carried them. Unmarried mothers, abandoned and judged, could not show their children to the eyes of the village. Some children were hidden. Some were buried beneath moss, beneath the floorboards of homes, or beside the streams where no one dared to linger at night. And the earth remembered. The Myling, they called it, not angry, not vengeful, just waiting, just unheard. The first sign is always sound, a faint cry, barely rising above the wind, too soft to chase, too steady to ignore. Some hear it near frozen streams, others beneath their own floors, and always at the same hour, every night. It does not scream, it does not shout, it waits. It grows closer, not louder. The weight of silence travellers speak of the weight. You walk a forest path, snow underfoot, moon above, quiet pressing down on everything. Then, behind you, small uneven steps, patient, waiting. If you stop, they stop. If you turn, there is nothing there, until you speak aloud. Who's there? Then comes the weight, heavy, soft, impossible to lift, not dangerous, not cruel, just present. The names we never say, they have many names. Utkasting, utburling, ghost. All mean the same, a child born into silence. A life hidden before it could breathe fully. Some Mylings appear as the child they were, small, pale, with eyes that seem too old for their face. Some grow taller each night, stretching to brush the treetops. Some take the form of a dark bird, watching silently from the branches, and always they wait for someone to hear them, for someone to speak their name, for someone to notice. One night I followed the faint cries, through trees heavy with snow, through marshes quiet as a coffin lid. The cries grew closer but never loud. I could feel them, the weight pressing against my chest, gently, insistently. And then I saw it. A small figure, pale, standing at the edge of the path, not threatening, not angry, just waiting. I knelt, and I whispered a name I did not know I had yet. The weight lifted, the air softened, the forest exhaled. The Myling begins to tell its story, not with words, but with presence. Long ago its mother was a girl shunned by her village. No home, no comfort, no mercy. She hid her child beneath the moss. The world would have punished her anyway, and so the child was lost, but not forgotten. It grew in shadow, fed by silence. It waited, but never with anger, only longing. Sometimes in the old tales the Myling transforms. A black bird perched on a branch, watching, patient, silent. If its mother walks by, it flutters down, and sometimes it touches her cheek, not to harm, but to remind her. It wants recognition, a name, acknowledgement. I walked further. The forest stretched endlessly. Shadows moved among the trees, not frightening, just alive. The Myling guides them, tiny whispers of old lives that the world tried to erase. And sometimes it dances along the path, not to harm, not to scare, just to be seen. I followed, not speaking. Each pause of my breath matched the soft rhythm of its movements. At last, in a small clearing, snow falling lightly, the Myling stopped. I knelt again, and I spoke the name it had waited centuries to hear. The forest stilled, the shadows softened, the air felt lighter, and the child finally rested. No screaming, no rage, only silence, only acknowledgement. I walked back to the village. Snow muffled my footsteps. The night seemed softer, no cries, no weight. The villagers slept. The world continued. And yet the forest remembered. It remembers all who are hidden, all who are unnamed, all who are waiting to be heard. The forest grows quiet now. The snow continues to fall, covering every footprint, every memory. Some say the Myling still wanders. Others believe that once it is named, once it is remembered, it finally rests. Perhaps that is all any story ever wants, to be heard. If this tale stayed with you tonight, share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you heard of similar legends where you live? Or felt the quiet presence of a story that refused to fade? And if you enjoy calm, chilling tales meant for rest and reflection, consider subscribing to the channel. New stories wait here, quietly. Now let the night take over. Let the silence return. Good night and sleep well.